A Western engineer just moved to Malaysia and discovered his $8,000 monthly salary now gives him the lifestyle of a $250,000 earner back home. But here's the twist. Locals earning $2,000 are living better than him. How is this possible? But wait, before we begin, please subscribe to ensure that you never miss out on any of my essential stuff. Comment, "I subscribe" below, and I will personally welcome you to our community. With that said, let's get started. Let me introduce you to James Chan, a 34 years old, British tech consultant. Sharp guy, the kind who always calculated every penny before swiping his card. For 8 years in London, James had a ritual. Every workday, he'd grab lunch near his office in Canary Wharf. A mediocre sandwich, maybe a bag of crisps if he felt indulgent, a bottle of water. Total damage? 12 pounds. That's about $15. $15 for a lunch that left him hungry 2 hours later. He accepted it, because that's just life in London, right? Then James got a consulting contract in Kuala Lumpur. Same job, same salary, different world. His first Monday morning in Malaysia, a colleague took him to a hawker center. The air smelled like coconut rice and fried anchovies. James ordered nasi lemak, coconut rice, sambal, fried chicken, boiled egg, peanuts, and a fresh lime drink. The vendor said, "That's RM12. James pulled out a 50 ringgit note. He was doing the conversion in his head. "Wait, that's $3? The vendor looked confused. "You want something else?" James posted a TikTok that night. Just him, standing in front of the hawker stall, holding up the receipt. He didn't even say much. Just, "This cost me $3. 2.3 million views in 48 hours. Comments flooded in. "That's a scam price. Where's the real cost?" But James wasn't joking. He'd found a glitch in the matrix. And here's the science to back it up. According to the MIT Cost of Living study from 2024, food prices in Malaysia are 68% cheaper than the UK and 71% cheaper than the US. Not a bit less expensive. Not affordable if you're careful. We're talking about a complete economic reality shift. But here's what hit James harder than the price tag. It was the dignity of it. For the first time in nearly a decade, he could walk into a restaurant, any restaurant, and order what he wanted, not what he could afford. No mental math, no guilt, no checking his bank app under the table. He described it in a follow-up video. "I forgot what it felt like to just eat, without anxiety." But here's where the story gets controversial, because food is just the beginning. Let's talk about the thing that's probably crushing you right now: rent. If you're in London, you're paying an average of £2,100 a month for a one-bedroom apartment. That's $2,650. If you're in New York, try $3,500. San Francisco? Don't even ask. Now meet Sarah Martinez, 29 graphic designer from Orange County, California. Talented, hardworking, doing everything right. She was living in Los Angeles, sharing a 2-bedroom apartment with 2 roommates. Her room, barely big enough for a bed and a desk, cost her $1,400 a month. She remembers lying awake at night, doing the math. Rent, student loans, car payment, insurance, groceries. By the end of the month, she had maybe $200 left, if nothing went wrong. One day, Sarah stumbled across a YouTube video about digital nomads in Malaysia. She thought it was clickbait, too good to be true. But desperation makes you brave. She booked a 1-month Airbnb in Penang and gave herself a test run. If it didn't work, she'd go back. 3 weeks in, she signed a year-long lease on a 3-bedroom condo. Ocean view, modern kitchen, balcony with sunrise views, gym and pool in the building. Monthly rent, $800. Let me say that again. $800. She was saving $1,800 a month compared to her LA shoebox. Within 10 months, Sarah had paid off $15,000 in credit card debt. Debt she'd been drowning in for years. And the data backs this up. The Numbeo Global Property Report from 2024 found that property prices in Malaysia are 78% lower than in major Western cities. But here's the mind-bending part. Let's play a game. You have $500,000. What can you buy? In Manhattan? A studio apartment. Maybe. If you're lucky, probably needs renovation. In Kuala Lumpur, a 4-bedroom luxury condo with a private pool, panoramic city views, 24-hour security, and enough left over to furnish the whole place. If you've ever felt trapped by rent, sacrificing dreams, delaying life, just to keep a roof over your head, this next part will change everything. Because there's another layer to this paradox. What happens when Western salaries flood into a low-cost economy? Here's a claim that sounds impossible. A Malaysian earning $2,000 a month lives better than an American earning $6,000. Let me prove it with math. Meet Ahmad Rashid, 42 years old, marketing manager for a local firm in Kuala Lumpur. He earns $9,000 a month. That's about $2,000 US. Here's how his money breaks down. Rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in a decent neighborhood, $350. That's 17.5% of his income. Food. He eats out most days with a mix of hawker food and mid-range restaurants. $300 a month. That's 15%. Transportation. He drives a Honda. Petrol, tolls, parking. $150. That's 7.5%. Healthcare. Malaysia has excellent public health care. He pays about $50 a month for private insurance, just in case. That's 2.5%, which means Ahmad has $1,150 left every month. That's 57.5% of his income for whatever he wants. Savings, travel, hobbies, investments. Now, let's cross the ocean. Meet Emma Thompson, 41 years old, marketing manager in Chicago. Same job title as Ahmad, but in the U.S. She earns $6,000 a month. Here's Emma's breakdown. Rent for a 1-bedroom apartment, $1,800. That's 30% of her income. Food, groceries, and occasional dining out, $800 a month. That's 13.3%. Transportation, car payment, insurance, gas, $450. That's 7.5%. Healthcare, even with employer insurance, premiums, and copays run her about $650 a month. That's 10.8%. Emma's discretionary income, $2,300, which sounds like more than Ahmed's $1,150. But it's only 38.3% of her income. Ahmad, earning a third of Emma's salary, has more financial freedom. He takes 4 international trips a year. Thailand, Japan, Indonesia, Australia. Emma? She took 1 trip last year, a long weekend to visit family. And this isn't anecdotal. The World Bank's Purchasing Power Parity Index from 2024 confirms it. Malaysia's cost-adjusted quality of life ranks 23rd globally, ahead of France at 27th and Italy at 31st. This isn't about being rich. It's about being free. But here's the part that'll make you uncomfortable. Because there's a hidden cost the influencers never mention. The Western expat wave is creating a silent crisis. Meet Lim Wei Jian, 28 years old, born and raised in Kuala Lumpur. Works in finance. Solid middle-class income by Malaysian standards. 2 years ago, his favorite neighborhood coffee shop charged RM8 for a flat white. About $2. Last month, RM30. That's $7. Same coffee. Same shop. Different clientele. The owner told him, Westerners don't blink at RM30. If I charge local prices, I can't afford rent anymore. Wei Jian's neighborhood is gentrifying. Fast. The Mammoth stall, where he ate breakfast for 20 years, replaced by a rustic artisan brunch cafe with $18 avocado toast. According to the Malaysia Property Market Analysis from 2024, property prices in expat-heavy areas have risen 34% in just 2 years. Locals are being priced out of their own cities. So here's the ethical dilemma. If you move for a better life, are you unintentionally destroying someone else's? It's an uncomfortable question, and there's no perfect answer. But there's a way to do this ethically. Don't live in expat bubbles. Choose neighborhoods where locals actually live. Support local businesses, not Western chains trying to replicate home. Learn the language. Even basic phrases show respect. Let me tell you about Marcus Johnson, American programmer. Could have settled in Kuala Lumpur with all the other expats. Instead, he chose Ipoh, a smaller, quieter city. He joined a local badminton club, Started taking Bais in Malaysia classes. Now he teaches free English conversation sessions at the community center every Saturday. Marcus didn't move to Malaysia to escape the community. He moved to find it. And that brings us to the big question. What does all of this mean for the future? Because this isn't just a few adventurous nomads anymore. According to the UN Migration Report from 2024, 4.2 million Western professionals relocated to Southeast Asia in the last 3 years alone. That's a 156% increase from 2021. This isn't a trend. It's the beginning of a global value revolution. Economists predict that by 2030, 15 to 20 million Western professionals will permanently relocate to lower-cost regions. So here's the real question. Is the Western dream dead or just too expensive? Oxford Economics released a study in 2024. They surveyed millennials across the US, UK, Canada, and Australia. 67% said they would relocate abroad permanently if they could maintain their income. 2/3. Let that sink in. The social contract is breaking. Work hard, get an education, buy a home, retire comfortably. For an entire generation, that contract is a lie. But here's what I want you to understand. This isn't about giving up on your country. It's about refusing to give up on your life. Remember James from the beginning? The guy with the $3 lunch? He's still in Malaysia. Runs his consulting firm remotely now. Saves $4,000 a month. He's visited 12 countries in the past year. He told me, I didn't leave Britain. I left broke. If you've ever felt like you're working harder but living worse, you're not alone. And now you know there's another way. So here's the real question. Would you trade your Western passport lifestyle for a Malaysian quality of life? Or is there something about home, family, culture, familiarity that no amount of savings can replace? Drop your answer below and be honest. Would you move tomorrow? Or would you never leave? I'll reply to the most interesting responses. And if you think this is just running away, explain to me why working 80 hours a week to barely survive is somehow more noble. I'm listening. And one more thing. Next video, we're breaking down the 5 countries where your dollar goes even further than Malaysia. Some of them will shock you. See